I've gotten questions fairly often about how to finger pick, picking in general, but certainly how to finger pick. And I want to address those today in a series. Today's simple one is going to be how to use these three fingers to get just a bit of a roll, is what I would call it. Because I'm going to talk about how you can go 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess is what it is. 1, 2, 3, 4. First, I want to say hand position when you're actually holding the instrument, generally speaking, needs to be pretty natural. You don't want to have too much of this. And when you're striking the strings, you want to be like as if your fingers are just doing their natural kind of grabbing motions. So a word about technique there is just down with your thumb, pulling back with your middle and your ring. I'll hold that down a little bit there so it's a different angle. Now if you want to get really precise about it, the places I'm hitting the strings are right across this part of my thumb and then right across that part of my index and middle fingers. So a little bit of flesh. If you have longer nails, which I do for guitar purposes usually, if you have a little longer fingernail, then you're going to probably get a little bit of flesh and a little bit of nail, which is fine. It's just the tonality there. So again, pulling back or down for the thumb, doing inward for the middle and the high strings. I'm using a Seagull Merlin today, which is low, mid, and double high, D-A-D. This will work completely on any Strumstick or similar instruments. Strumstick's tuned to D-A-D, exact same thing. You just don't have two top strings to contend with. All right, so on to the playing. Now, the way I like to do this is go with the eighth notes. Now, what do I mean by eighth notes? If every beat of a song is 1, 2, 3, 4, then the eighth notes are the in-between, so you'd be doing the downbeat and the upbeat. If you're in 4/4 time, it'd be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So if we think about it like that, and then we go thumb, index, middle, index, in terms of how we're plucking the strings, it would look like 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. But in terms of strings, it's going to be down, in, down, in. That's how your fingers are going to operate. Hope that makes sense. The way I would recommend practicing this is very slowly at first, and if you have a metronome, definitely stick with the metronome. That's the only way that you're going to get an even rhythm between the strings. Because this coordination, while your hand is used to doing these types of motions, the coordination and the timing of that is a totally different thing. So decouple your left hand from your right hand by just starting with one hand, and then stick with the metronome, right? That way the metronome will kind of keep you honest about how you're doing with the tempo that you're keeping. So once you've got that in the open, so you're not thinking about your left hand at all, then just try simple notes, simple frettings, simple chords, whatever you're comfortable with normally with the left hand, to try and get the two-handed coordination down, because you're going to need to move your hand in your left hand in between when you're plucking the strings in your right hand. So it would be something like and move, and then if you get comfortable with that way you're keeping a complete pattern in your right hand. Then you can move your left hand some more. Say every pattern, every four note pattern. So you might do something like Now, you add complexity as you feel comfortable and as the rhythm in your right hand and the tempo in your right hand maintains. In other words, that's got to be consistent. Otherwise, the whole thing will start to come apart. And this technique with the right hand will start to sound sloppy, and you don't want that, obviously. So let's try D, G, A, D. That's 1, 4, 5, 1. Super common progression. So, and then I'm going to do a full bar. One thing I want to point out about this, which is a great aspect of it, is that this is a way to arrange a song so that it has more interest to it, as opposed to going something like that, right? Where you're playing. Instead, you're just plucking every note, which is called an arpeggio. So, what we've got there is the right hand doing the natural pulls, showing it on the instrument. It's like that. And then we're adding the complexity of the left hand. First, you're starting open. And then as you feel comfortable, add in something on the left hand. And then just increasing your complexity level with the left hand. Keep the right hand the same. So, from there, as you get this coordination down in the right hand, then you can think about adding complexity to the right hand, which we'll deal with at a later point. Other ways you can approach patterns, other ways that you can approach adding rhythms that are not just with the plucking. You could do with like a pick or with like some claw style, is what I like to call it. I've got a separate video for the 2-finger, 1-finger claw, which looks like that. All right, hope that gets you something to work on for a while, and that you're able to learn something new and add interest to your song. Please leave comments to let me know how this is working out, what songs you've used it on, where you have questions. I'm excited to help you out with learning. All right, thanks everyone.